Yes, we can see you. A very, very good morning from India and good evening from United States. So today we have Miss Wendy Kwan. So let me have a short intro about herself. Always leading as an advocate for the environment, Wendy T. Kwan is a licensed real estate agent and VP of New Business Development with North Star First Properties. Realtor, consultant, entrepreneur, film producer, coach, speaker, and mentor in Central Florida, where she has covered the greater Orlando residential markets since 2002. Prior to real estate investment and real estate sales, she was a Series 7 financial planner. Therefore, she approached real estate with an investors that had a teacher's heart. She loved helping her clients learn, grow, and succeed. She is an active member of the prestigious IFBIC, the International Real Estate Federation, addressing affordable housing and sustainability, NAR, NAREB, WCR, Florida Realtors Global Business Councils, Aura Global Councils, and Aura Commercial Council. She actively attends industry and trade conferences to host and represent clients. She serves her local and state real estate boards through member organization and is Orlando Regional Retailers Association Ambassador to Jamaica and also member of City of Orlando's Clean Energy and Green Building Advisory Committee. Her experience living and working in Central Florida over 30 years has helped make her a specialist in those areas, but her enthusiasm for delivering the dream of affordable and sustainable home ownership has no limits. Originally from Jamaica, Wendy has focused her business to a global reach by attending global trade missions and attending her prestigious certified international property specialist designation, which greatly benefits her clients and allows her to partner with trusted colleagues in 17 countries. Wendy's philosophy is that we are stronger together and we should always lead by serving. Wendy specializes in land for development, off-market, hotel, and multifamily. We as well as listing and marketing unique properties and development projects around the world. Wendy would love to create value for your business through her diligent efforts and strong international network. And today she will be presenting her presentation on sustainable development. And Wendy, we need please have a small intro about yourself, and then you can start your presentation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that wonderful, warm introduction, Amresh. Good evening, everyone on the call. Good night in Eastern United States. Good evening, Western United States, and good morning in India. I love the global aspect of this group, and my name, as Amresh said, is Wendy Cowan. I have been practicing real estate over almost 15 years, and prior to that, financial planning. But what I'm most excited about is affordable housing, or as I would rather call it, more affordable housing. This is not low-income housing, but this is what would address some of the workforce, the people who are supporting our communities, teachers, firefighters, nurses, healthcare workers, clergy, mental health professionals, the ones that during the pandemic kept us going. Those are whom I'm really advocating for with affordable homes. And I really wanted to start with the Sustainable Development Goals, which is what the United Nations put into practice on September 25th, 2015. And those goals have been adopted by 193 countries that are members of the United Nations. So I'm going to share my screen here to share what those goals are. Give me a moment. Share content. Photos. Here it is. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So the Sustainable Development Goals are also known as SDGs. You can find this on the United Nations website. The goals are: number one, no poverty, eliminating poverty around the world. Zero hunger, no one should go hungry. Good health and well-being. Number four, quality education. 5, gender equality. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Number 10, reduced inequalities. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. 14, life below water. 15 is life on land. 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And 17, partnerships for the goals. Now, the reason I wanted to start with this is because there's much intersection between these different goals. And the goal is to be completely energy efficient by 2030. That's a very key number, that a key date that you may hear over and over again, is to align all of these different initiatives so that we're accomplishing success together around the world. And in the world of real estate, we really have the ability to affect a lot of these different initiatives just by how we put together our projects. And it's really interesting how this came together, because I was scheduled to do this talk, and one of the things that popped up on there was, in my bio, is a film producer. And honestly, the film that I had been working on had been on hiatus for quite a while, for many different reasons, including COVID and a car accident that happened last year. But what just came back to life is a project that had been on ice for almost 2 years here in Central Florida, where I'm going to be working with the landowner on a ability to put together an affordable housing development. And here is how those sustainable development goals come into play to help bring success to this project. So the goals that I'm hitting with the project that I'm working on there's 7 goals in here. So number 2, zero hunger. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. Number 11, sustainable cities. Number 12, responsible consumption. Number 13, climate action. And 15, life on land. So I really wanted to start with the goals, and I'm going to go back to video here. If you can see me, great. To share with you that these goals are not just for governments to look at. These are for communities and employers and practitioners like ourselves to really examine these goals and what can you do to be a part of the solution versus a part of the problem. And I wanted to share with you, with the community that we're putting together, it will be 200 homes is the goal, the density goal. And within that community, we're integrating agriculture. So each home will receive its own personal garden. And if the person says, hey, I don't want my own garden, I don't want to maintain that, they can donate that to the community garden. The community garden will have enough produce, organic produce produced on site, that each household will have their own share of the crop every week, every month, and every quarter. So that addresses sustainability goal number 2, zero hunger. What we find in many affordable home areas in the United States is that there's lack of access to immediate groceries that have good, healthy food options. It's typically convenience stores where you just can, like a gas station type of a convenience store. So by having integrated agriculture right in the sustainable community, it really brings people together. Food is how we celebrate together. And so that's one of the initiatives we're adding there. Clean water and sanitation. We're integrating a net zero clean energy production, which uses solid waste that is converted to potable water, which can be used to water the gardens. Number two, it produces fertilizer, organic fertilizer. It eliminates waste, so you have less of a burden on the landfills. Produces biodiesel, which is a cleaner fuel, and you're recapturing some of that energy that's from the waste. And putting all this together, you now have a circular economy system that takes advantage of these technologies. Going to Sustainable Development Goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. One of the initiatives that we have access to as well is solar glass. So what that is basically glass that collects solar energy that can be converted into energy that you can use for your home. So now we're not only using the waste to create energy, but we're also using solar from the glass as well as solar panels. Making these homes super energy efficient reduces the financial burden to these households that we're helping to become independent, helping to stabilize. So which leads to number 11, sustainable cities. This is a small project, 200 homes, but can you imagine if there were 1,000 of these projects happening at the same time? So we want to create a truly sustainable model that can be duplicated easily. And that ties into my film production. So we're actually going to be documenting this entire process. We just retained our TV production company today. We confirmed with them that they're going to document the story for us, but not just document it. We're going to do it in a manner that it's educational. It'll be short clips, and at the end, put together a great documentary that shows what we did, how we did it. We don't want this to be a secret. We want it to be duplicatable, that it can happen in your backyard, Amresh, and your backyard, Molly, and yours, Christina, as well. So let's talk about responsible consumption and production. So one of the big issues that we have is waste and garbage and plastic. And by utilizing technologies that can break down these raw materials into something usable like energy, we're now becoming more responsible with that consumption. One of the features of the integrated garden is that it takes some of that food waste that we have in our households and breaks it down into compost, which now becomes fertilizer and now becomes food again. So again, using that circular economy, that circular loop, instead of it ending up in a landfill. And this all helps the whole climate action conversation because we're reducing our emissions. And that is definitely going to help reduce the greenhouse effect that we're having and causing global warming, but it's just one part of that issue. The less that we're relying on the grid that is, still burning coal, that's still using other technologies to energies to fuels that are damaging our environment, reutilizing things that we already have on hand, solar, wind, and using the waste that we are creating really does help to make an impact on that, taking you off the grid and now you're less of a burden on the overall energy systems. One one thing I want to talk about with the grid, and yeah, everybody's excited about electric vehicles and electric cars and all this. If that electricity is coming from biomass, biomass is trees. So cutting down trees to power our iPhone is not a sustainable solution, but utilizing the power from the sun and from the waste that we're producing is a sustainable solution. So be mindful of where is your energy coming from. Is it coming from coal? Is it coming from biomass, again, which is trees, the trees right behind you, Amrush? You know, so we shouldn't be cutting down trees to fuel our iPhones, okay? And perhaps it leads to a re-energizing of nuclear power. Nuclear is one of the safest power sources. It's 97% safer than some of the other energy producing technologies that we have available. And who knows, there may be alien technology available that is being hidden as a secret that we can tap into and, you know, have other access to power. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition. And then lastly of the sustainable development goals that I'm addressing with my development is life on land. Integrating sustainable agriculture into a housing model, it does increase the green spaces. You have more clean oxygen, clean air, and creating a great environment to enjoy with your family where you have green spaces integrated within the community. It shouldn't be a concrete jungle where it's just concrete and concrete and concrete everywhere. We need to maximize our spaces utilizing all of the materials around us. And I think putting together projects that are thoughtful and mindful of the sustainable development goals will help lead us to a better future. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. You know, I've been in real estate for 15 years, almost 15 years, and you know, buying and selling homes, you know, helping sellers, helping on the commercial end with, you know, hotels and all these other big projects. All these things comes down to land, the dirt. What do you do with it? And if we make the proper decisions in the very beginning, we'll have a better future for my children, my future grandchildren, and yours as well, because we're here not just to do things for our own edification and benefit. It's for the future generations to come. And if we're not doing it, no one is. So I'm Wendy, and I wanted to share with you my vision for sustainable development and integrating that in my practice.
That's wonderful. And it, yes. So
Thank you.
questions will be welcome. So let me start with two things. So as you have mentioned about the biggest problem of plastics, and you have concentrated more and more on the renewable electricity production. So for the plastics, the technology have been developed in India that plastics and the garbages are now being converted into petrol. In coming years, I think in 2 to 3 years, I think this problem will be solved by the German technology. So they have shown a very positive, output, and they are working on now a very magnum opus projects that is to be completed within 2 to 3 years. So all the garbages on the will be renewed, and most probably petrol will be produced from that. So I think it will be a very innovative change in the fuel industry. Second thing, as you have talked about the electrical vehicles and electrical things that is being developed. Yeah, obviously, we have to check out for the resources also that how we can produce the energy. As you have said that cutting trees is not a solution. We are creating another problem by solving one problem. But again, we have Jatropha plant in India. So if you do the farming of Jatropha plant, you can produce petrol easily. And the efficiency of petrol published by the Jatropha fruit is having more efficiency than the petrol we used to get from the soil. So petrol can be made by the plants itself. And as for the, you have mentioned about the nuclear power plant. See, getting energy from nuclear power plant is, yeah, it's safe, but it needs a very high trained professionals to maintain the nuclear power plant. And you can know what could be the disaster of, what could be the side effect of if there is any leakage in the nuclear power plant. Recently, scientists have found the elements that are more reactive than the uranium itself. We have a urethane group, we have uranium S3 group, we have uranium S5 group. They are very much radioactive elements, but their efficiency is 1,000 times greater than the uranium. So if we are making any plant related to those things, making plant is not a big deal, but uh, working efficiency and the techniques that is required to make the fission and fission could be very high, and it is still very expensive in any part of the world. As per my knowledge, United States, Germany, even uh, the Sun Group, NASA, they have already started on working on wireless electricity through the third group of uranium. But still, it's a very expensive and it's in the experimental mode. So hope in coming 5 to 10 years, we will be having that type of phase where electricity can be produced from the radioactive elements. So we are on a very positive note, and sustainable development is really required all over the world. Because what I have seen, through the news and what I have seen in India, that there is a long gap between, having the houses even in India. Some people are having siege of houses in India, and some people are not able to afford a single house. They have to sleep on the streets and other things. So these gaps can be reduced through whatever model you are working, and the way you are trying to film out and presenting into the world. That will be a very revolutionary project from your side. So I would like to invite other members with their questions, and I think Wendy will be happy answering that. So please.
I would like to add one.
Sure, sure.
Yes, I guess this project was initiated in Dubai because I was there in one of the presentation where they showed me the sustainable development, where it was a similar kind of a project, but the housing sections was different. The waste management sector has a different thing, and what they used to do is that they used to take all the wastage of water, okay, and they used to plant vegetables in a dome shaped place where there was a revolving kind of a wind where they used to generate electricity as well from there, right? And from there was a temperature control where the plant would grow, especially lettuce and all. So I know this project very well because I've been working almost with sustainable development almost been a year now. So I have been understanding the project where I was attending a conference almost for a year now. So what Wendy is saying, it's very logical, and I have you know virtually seen the project how it moves. So there is a the whole development is under a place where they do not require anything from outside. It's sustainable inside each and everything. Means electric vehicles, the whole charging system to everything is there, and the whole housing has all the solar panels. They do not even require an electricity for that. So, and for the water, the whole water is drained out and again supplied to the for the human for their consumptions. So a very good project initiated. But yes, one thing I really liked is that the way you are adding up the farming system for organics, right? The person inside, okay, the whole society, I rather say, right? They have their own agricultural systems for organics, right? So they they form the whole organic system not in the open space, but they have created a a dome shaped thing, the way they have maintained it. So if you want that video, I have the videos, I can share it with you.
Yes, that's amazing. And I was actually a team leader for the Invest in Dubai trade mission, which happened this past March. And we led a delegation. I think we had over 500 registrations, but I think we had about 150 people present for that. And one of the tours that we attended with the International Real Estate Federation, which I'm a member of, which is a United Nations NGO. So those sustainable development goals that you did see there in Dubai and that sustainable city that you did see is part of this project. So that was given as an example of these goals in action. And I did have the honor to visit that sustainable city also. And it was mind-blowing. The way it was designed to be walker friendly. All of the cars were to the outside perimeter. The parking areas had the solar panels over the garages and also over the villas. And the domes were strategically placed throughout the community. So things were growing at different, maybe needed different growing conditions. So they were separated by dome. We saw the children playing and, there's a swimming pool and everything. It was just a magnificent experience to see that in action. And it's in the middle of a desert, literally, because it's,
Yes.
Dubai is a desert. And to see a fully sustainable city was very inspiring for me. So I'm glad I had that experience, and I'm glad you were able to see that yourself firsthand.
Yes,
Wendy.
only one thing was that only the supermarket was, at the first, where they were not even entertaining the supermarket to come inside the, the place where they have really developed the place where the project starts. At the first, there was a supermarket. After that, they started the whole, so they are not even allowed to enter it. So whatever you want to buy it, you buy it. Okay, purchase it online and the person will give you back. It's like that. So I have been, venturing this. It's a very good project and one of the kind in Dubai.
Yes, it was amazing. I think we had another question or comment.
Yeah, Mayur, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to further add on to your conversation and Alok's. There's something called, this is not a question, but this is an experience. There's something called farm tourism, which is the in thing right now. So a lot of players do pick up small villages and they do resorts, the cottages inside the village. These are built out of bricks and all the natural elements which are available, the natural material which is available. The electricity is not picked up from the grid, it's from the solar panels, and there is farming inside the resort. So there is no boundary as such. You can just go and visit the farm, you can go and visit the greenhouse, and whatever you grow is available for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's the thing which is available, and there is no television inside the rooms. There is no, so certain amount of kilowatts are available per cottage, so that the consumption is very less, and that's what is now developing further on, because a lot of investors, a lot of players are pumping their investment into farm tourism. But yeah, I quite like the idea of the panel, which is picks up the glass panels on the house, which picks up the solar energy and then transfers it back into your system. Is there some sort of player or a supplier or something who manufactures?
It's a tunnel based. There is a tunnel. The light comes in that glass. The whole tunnel supplies the it supplies the the rays is absorbed there and it supplies the lights. So it's a round shaped. So I'm aware of the project.
Yes, our team has a contract with a company that does the clean energy from solid waste and the energy glass. So that's something that we can introduce to developers and give a proposal of what that will cost and show how much it will save and what it should generate based on the location. So that's something that we're very excited about, because again, as much as we can capture from the natural space that's there, that is something that we're reducing the cost, reducing the reliance on the power grid. So I'm super excited about that technology. I see Molly has a question.
Really, I just have something to contribute. I had a meeting this morning with a CEO of the Green Energy Capital Funding in Vienna. And if you have a development that has at least 10 to 15% of the developed soil for renewable energy, they will fund it up to 100%. And there is no, it's pretty much, it's riding on the green bond, and it's trying to help those developers who are thinking renewable energy and green sustainability. So it is being put in place right now. Big infrastructure, especially if they take advantage of this, it's 100% bond, pretty much. It's free money for the developers in the United States. I think I was talking to them by putting actually a development in Bali. The royal family of Bali is trying to set up a 20% of their land, because Bali is the second polluted ocean in the world after China. So because we have these developments in Bali, the company, the chairman said, okay, we will give you 100% as long as you donate 20% at least of your development to green sustainability to preserve the earth. So you have a lot of help around the world. It's coming. It's trying to meet the Paris Agreement from the 2016. And a lot of countries have put this into practice. And I remember my first development working with Dubai 6 years ago was the first sustainable development. It was really fantastic. And now in 2022, it's going further, and it's using more and more green, even to have green hydrogen being done instead of using the carbon.
That's excellent. Excellent comments there, Molly. I'm very interested in getting connected to that green energy capital funding you mentioned. That's something we can definitely integrate into this community and be able to implement these initiatives. So it's a win-win-win.
So we have questions from Mr. Sudhirji. Yeah, Sudhirji.
Hi, Wendy, how are you?
Hi there. Hi, Amrish.
Okay, just wanted to understand, you are doing numbers of things in sustainable renewables, and numbers of things are you doing. And only small question is, have you thought about medical tourism?
Yes, actually, I am in the process of marketing a private hospital in Grenada, and medical tourism is what we are looking at for that particular facility, because there's a lot of tourism that's growing in the lower Caribbean. There's actually 2 hotels that are being built close by. And with how expensive it is to get some routine elective surgeries done in the United States, many folks in UK who may be on a long waiting list for certain procedures, and same thing in the US, maybe it's not as affordable, are looking to utilize medical tourism. So that's something that's definitely, if you again go back to those sustainable development goals, good health and well-being, we're actually working with some hospitals around the world. Molly also has a few hospital projects where we're looking to integrate naturopathic health and Ayurvedic type of initiatives where we're healing using the native plants that have, because most pharmaceuticals are based on plants to begin with. So again, looking to address that. But tell us what you had in mind with medical tourism. I would love to hear more.
So, Sudhirji, I will share her number with you and you can get connected and
Yes, yes,
see.
yes.
So Paddy is having the question. So Paddy, please.
Yeah, good evening to everyone and good morning to everybody in India. Great presentation, Wendy. Thank you for sharing a lot of insights. And I can really relate to most of them that you said because I am exactly in the same space. I'm not a developer though. I'm more in the environmental activity front. Like I've done my environmental management from the Indian Institute of Science here in Bangalore, and so I can really relate to each and every point that you mentioned. I had three broad areas that I wanted to kind of touch base with you and explore. I mean, two, but one is something that I want to really share about the nuclear energy that you mentioned about. Maybe I just want to share it because these are insights that you can capture as experiences and have just at the back of your mind, you know, whenever you evaluate that. So I visited this. We have a nuclear project in Karnataka, in Bangalore. I mean, in the state of Karnataka in India, and I visited the nuclear plant, and I could really see that how the the temperature of water rises in and around the plant. So you need huge amount of water to cool down the systems, and then the temperature rises, and there were a lot of fish kills. Fish got killed because of the raise in water, the raise in temperature of the water. So there are certain implications. I just wanted to add this point. There are implications when we do the EIA, the environmental impact assessment, or something like that, that you can capture and suggest better methodologies to kind of, if there are to, really say that nuclear can be really, a very productive way of contributing back to the system. So that's just thing as an experience I just wanted to share with you. The two other areas that I really liked about is, one is about the, growing food in your backyard. We did have a project called as the Eat Your Street project. We had a lot of community come together and grow your own food and distribute them to each household. Of course, what you're saying is about a personalized space to every household, as an independent unit. But we had a community approach called as Eat Your Street, and that is what I wanted to connect you with, because this is tying into what your sustainable theme is, and I wanted to grow. I want to see if we can have the potential of growing this project into a better manner. One is that. The other one is about the clean water. And the other thing, I don't know if you've come across this kind of thing, but India really had traditional wells and open wells basically, and I'm sure you might be aware of this as well. So we are now in the process of recharging wells here in Bangalore, which are kind of obviously recharging the water tables below, and all the we've like tapped about 4,000 years of old water here in India, and especially in Bangalore. So we really in a very dire situation. So this is something I just wanted to know if you're interested in to add on to your project as well. Then I can make the necessary introductions and then make it a global project, because I'm sure there are other parts in the world where there are other parts in the world there are open wells, and maybe if this can be added as another offering for you. So these are the two predominant things that I want to get connected with you, and it'll be great to have a one-on-one session with you and to explore how we can take these two projects more deeper into the communities.
That would be amazing, Patty. I really appreciate you reaching out on that. I would love to learn more, especially about the Eat Your Street. I love the name of that. That's very fun. And definitely the clean water. Clean water, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is a mermaid tail. And I wear this because I'm an advanced scuba diver. That's how I really jumped into global real estate, literally jumped in. I recognized in the country of Belize, which has the, as far as geographically, it has the second largest barrier reef system in the world, where Australia has the first largest. Belize now in 2019, it shifted to where they have the largest living barrier reef system because so much of Australia's reef has died back.
Yes.
And recognizing that if we're not being proactive in protecting the water and preventing solid waste from leaching into the water systems, as is happening in Tulum right now. Tulum, Mexico is a very popular tourist location. You can definitely, go on Instagram and you'll see, 10 Tulum pictures in a few minutes of scrolling. But what's happening in Tulum is that you have some developers that are not following the guidelines of development, and literally their sewage is leaching into the cenotes, which is their underwater rivers, which is where their clean water comes from. So I followed a documentary that called The Dark Side of Tulum. And if you take a look at some of the water sampling that has been done, it has human waste in it, and that's unacceptable. So we really do have to be mindful of these sustainable development goals. And as developers, as real estate practitioners, work with developers that are mindful and proactive about protecting the environment, because once it's wrecked, it's wrecked. If you take a piece of wood and burn it and look at it, you can't revive it back to the tree, Absolutely. So it's very important that we're, as folks in this space, really having conversations and introducing people to some of these newer technologies. And, initially it may be a little more expensive, but in the long run, we're protecting what we have. We're protecting our asset, which is the planet. So yes, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting connected to you, Wendy.
Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, and I also, now that you speak about scuba diving and other water issues, there's also another project that I'm trying to revive, which is called as the Voices from the Water, which is an international traveling film festival. So this got impacted during the pandemic and we could not conduct it. So it is a global event, and we receive film entry. Since you said you're also a filmmaker, so I'm sure you'll be able to relate to this, that the amount of water, the people getting displaced, and different things, like it could be water, it could be, and I'm sure if you can appreciate this, please do search or find for this film called as Bottled Life, which I'm sure you might have come across. This is on Nestle, and it really captures the sentiment of how Nestle is exploiting natural resources. So yeah, it's called Bottled Life. It's very, very disturbing, very disturbing. Anyways, I look forward to getting connected with you. Maybe I'll reach out to Amresh to find your number and phone, email IDs, and we'll take the conversation forward from there.
Yes, and not just Nestle, but Coca-Cola is another big problem in that arena. You'll find wherever Coca-Cola has a big presence, those water tables are dropping dramatically to where the farmers don't have enough water to irrigate their crops anymore, and creating these desert conditions. Bolivia is one country that's experiencing a tremendous water problem. And, I'm not saying that Coca-Cola did it, but it wasn't a problem before they were there, so definitely, again, we need to speak up and let these corporations know that they need to do better by the people, because it's not just about their, Wall Street profits. It's about people's lives as well.
Yeah, true. That is great.
So
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having your presentation.
Thank you.
excellent job in the question.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I think this is also a great forum for us to share some best practices of what we see happening locally for ourselves and how maybe we can be more active in taking a role. So, you know, I'm in New York City, which is a center for waste and all things chaos and craziness. But I've got some personal friends who are very much involved in like the circular economy and also wellness in the schools. I think it's an interesting place to begin when it comes to conversations about wellness and health, is to educate kids as young kids and teaching them. New York City had an initiative called Grow NYC, where they had a zero waste environment in the school. So they're teaching kids in the school, and the kids are therefore then able to go home and share those practices at home with their families, especially economically disadvantaged kids. Another friend of mine is a very well-known chef. He's actually the current executive chef at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But he was the chief executive of something called Wellness in the Schools, and he was trying to a huge initiative to like cut out the junk food they were serving kids and bring fresh food into the school. So he was, you know, teaching them very, very basic ideas for cooking, and they would have classes and recipes and things like that. So another one along the lines. And then another friend of mine is the Center for Circular Economy, which is an initiative of the city. And that is all about recycling waste, you know, avoiding waste. I don't know if you have these here, but they're very popular in New York, is the Buy Nothing group. So it's usually on Facebook, but it's an opportunity for you to get rid of things you no longer want or pick up things you need, and there's never a charge. It's like a Facebook marketplace, but they're never charging. And it's actually incredible, the things that are posted and then also immediately taken off this list. Like you think something's garbage and you want to, you know, you're about to throw it out, and somebody's, you know, people advertise everything. I have 5 plastic bags left over from something, and, you know, someone's on there saying, yes, I'll take it, you know, or an open package of something they didn't like, that I'll take it. So it's really interesting that people, you know, with the scale of the internet, you can actually have just scale these ideas in such a way. So Wendy, thank you for making us all think about that. Were you, Alok, were you talking earlier about the plastic eating bacteria? Is that what you're talking about? Do you know about this?
Oh, hello?
I guess Amresh was talking.
Was it Amresh talking about that? Was it the plastic eating bacteria?
No,
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of that, but that is different thing.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Wendy.
Thank you. I would like to share a quote with you from an NPR article on affordable housing, and that's kind of how this conversation started for me. Perhaps more than any other intervention, access to safe, stable, and affordable housing is recognized as vital to advancing equity and social justice. But it is the power of homeownership and not rent that creates intergenerational wealth. The average homeowner in America is worth $250,000. The average renter, however, just $6,000. And yet the majority of Black households don't own their own homes, while nearly 3/4 of white households do. The equity that is available to homeowners is something that drives generational wealth. Increasing rates of homeownership in minority communities can be a force for social healing, while transforming challenged neighborhoods into thriving communities. So this is talking about areas in the United States, but this is universal. So we really want to make an impact in creating more homeowners worldwide that have the stability to raise their family in a safe, clean environment, but also to build that intergenerational wealth. And we want to do it in a sustainable way, using some new technologies to help them grow efficiently, so their money isn't all going out to energy bills, you know, by being in a home that's subpar. So I really appreciate this conversation today, and opening the talk on sustainable development goals, because it's something that we all can have a piece of. It does that. We don't have to wait for the government to do it. We can do it ourselves.
With your permission, Wendy and Amrish, I just wanted to respond to Christina's point about plastic eating bacteria. May I please?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so this is coming from Japan, Christina. I'm sure if you, I don't know, I don't know what point around the plastic eating bacteria that you wanted to talk about.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm just curious if anyone's heard of any initiatives where they're implementing this. I think they've proven that it works, but has anyone heard of any of this being implemented anywhere in the world?
I've kind of known of it, but then I don't know the details because I'm not on that project, but then I can get back to you.
Wendy, one more question from my side. You said you are supposed to, or you are doing worldwide affordable housing, right? So may I understand which technology you are using so that you are very much comparatively very reasonable, I could say, in the price, because one of my senior, he was a ex-director of Attaining Sdgs, Special Economic Zone, and now he is already working on this kind of technology, which is the whole house is made somewhere else, but it is fixed somewhere else. So such kind of things are there, or what exactly you are doing? How you are so economical?
It depends on the location and the requirements. Our team right now is working on housing for Ukraine refugees. This is through a different group that I belong with. They're putting together the homes that are almost like pop-up homes for the Ukrainians in Poland near the border. And once the war is over, hopefully soon, and all this madness ends, but they'll be able to take those structures back to Ukraine, and that will be their home in Ukraine. So it depends on what the application is. The team leader for the project that I'm working on here, he has developed over 65,000 units of affordable homes around the world. If you look at Bogota, Colombia, historically, Bogota was a very hostile, very impoverished area. And the development that he created in Bogota has transformed that city into a wonderful place to live now. And so by taking people who are impoverished and giving them a place to live, we're talking workforce housing, putting it near transportation so they can get to work easily, not putting them way out into, into the sticks,
Sorry to interrupt you, but it's a wood base or it's a concrete base development you are doing?
I didn't hear you, sorry.
I said it's a wood base or concrete base development you are doing.
It depends on the application, but what we are working with primarily is steel frame. Steel frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Actually,
I will get in touch with you for numbers of things as we discussed today. There are numbers of things to share between us, and we can develop something better in India also.
yeah, Molly has some interesting applications as well, Molly.
I actually looked into that Ukraine and refugee camp So I'm working on that right now with that partner. The frame that's put together, it's almost like a box. It's being put into, it's like a recycled metal being put together with windows, doors, and air conditionings and things like that. It is given, and it's going to be in the border. Once the war stops, they're able to transport that to wherever it is that they want to relocate that home to. And the future of it is actually the septic system has to be put in place because there is no sewer. It's a septic placement with this pod that is located. And United Nations actually is going to have to get involved so that they will not be bombed away. At the moment, the biggest concern that we have right now is if the United Nations does not have their stamp of approval on this, the Russian will really bomb it out of the ground. And that's the biggest concern that we have right now. So I'm still working on it with the team to get funding. And one of the funder that I'm working with, actually, it's a Malaysian, it's almost like a PPP standard, but it's more private equity that are working with the United Nations to make sure that this impoverished nation now going to have something for those who are left behind.
Thank you. Oh, wow.
That's all.
I just
It was
got
a
Mother's Day roses.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you, son.
So, family, it was a wonderful session by Wendy. And with this, we will be ending the session. So I'd like to call Alok to conclude this meeting. And next Sunday, we will be coming with other speakers. So keep joining us. So Alok.
Yes, it was a very great session today. Many points to remember. So actually, you know, this whole thing got connected 10 years back when I was with one of my friend, okay, who was working with one kind of a pendant, which converts, you know, the water usually has an iron, okay, where it's not good to drink an iron water. So it started from there in Germany. So I was the one to purchase that pendant with me. So that converts anything, the ironing part of a water or any unwanted, you know, the pesticides, whatever it is, right? It converts, it eliminates in 3 minutes. So from there, the whole, you know, my brainstorming started. So then I started following it. So it is a very good, you know, initiative, you know, and it takes lots of understanding to get into development of the project. So in Germany also, you know, there are many kind of pendants, or they have some kinds of rings, right, where they use and for their day-to-day life. So it really helped me out to, you know, for my daily uses when I travel and all. So I would like to show you that also. See, it's this, a small pendant, which helps to, I don't know whether you can see or not. So this is a small pendant, okay, where it converts anything into the pesticides or any of the irons, what's there in the water, or even the rays, what when we talk over the phone and all. So it protects. So it is been proven from Germany government. So from there, you know, their whole initiative started, and after years, I would see this sustainable development coming over. So, so with this, I would like to, you know, end this session and keeping this, you know, thoughts in our mind that, you know, we need to save Earth and add more greeneries to it. And thank you so much, Wendy, for this very powerful and very productive
Informative. It's a very
presentation.
informative and very. There are numbers of things now we have to discuss later on. I will get your number, Wendy, from Amrit, and then we will be connected.
Thank you.
So thank you. It was a very wonderful session, and thank you for finding your time. Thank you, Sanjay sir, Adit ji, Alok, Mayur ji, Harsh ji, Rolly sir, and Molly. Thank you for making it possible. Ujjwal, Paddy, Pallavi, Manish sir. So let us meet next Sunday on the same time with the new topic, new speaker. So thank you, Christina. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Good night
Thank
and
you.
have a blessed Sunday.
Have a nice day.